وقل رب زدني علما.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Inshallah, we have a talk about the ruling, the riba, the meaning of it, the definition of the riba, and the ruling of it, and the ruling of some ahadith relate to the riba, which states that the 1 dirham of riba is worse than, for instance, the 36 عياذا بالله zina. What is the ruling of those hadith? And also an issue, masala, the people of knowledge call relate to the bay'u taqsid. The riba is known as a major sin, and it's not allowed. Allah said subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu al-bay'a wa harrama al-riba. Surah al-Baqarah, wa ahalla Allahu al-bay'a wa harrama al-riba. Allah made the bay', the transaction, lawful and forbade the riba. Wa ahalla Allahu al-bay'a. Allah made halal, lawful, al-bay', the transactions. Wa harrama al-riba, and he forbade, he prohibit al-riba. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared war on the one who deals with the riba. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. In this verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, by the way, the verse relate to the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse relate to the riba. Most of it are in Surah Al-Baqarah. So many verses, at least 7 or 8, close to that verses, all is about the riba. In those ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command the believers to fear of Him and to leave off the remaining of riba. When Allah revealed these verses, there were people who used to deal with the riba. The Jahiliyyah people, the Arabs used to deal with the riba. So Allah called the believers to fear of Him. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah, wa you believe, have taqwa, wa dharu ma baqiya min al-riba, and leave off what remain from riba. In kuntum mu'minin, if you are believers. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, if you don't do it, فَأَذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ, then notice and know harb, war of Allah, عِيَاذًا بِاللَّهِ, a war of His messenger against you. So Allah declared war on the one who deals with the riba. Who can fight Allah Azza wa Jal? Na'udhu billah. So something that Allah declared war in it, we should know it if we fear Allah. What is that? To avoid it. وَإِن تُبْتُمْ فَلَكُمْ رُؤُوسُ أَمْوَالِكُمْ لَا تَظْلِمُونَ وَلَا تُظْلَمُونَ. So the riba is haram in Islam. What's very famous today with the name of interest or usury. There are two types, two kinds of riba. There are two types of riba. Riba al-nasi'ah and riba al-fadl. Riba al-nasi'ah and riba al-fadl. One of the two types is very famous. And the wisdom of prohibition is very clear. One of these two types of riba is riba and nasi'ah. It occurs when exchanging to one another certain products. No, that's riba al-fadl. When exchanging to certain products. Riba al-nasi'ah, it comes when through lending. When someone lend another one and with a condition to pay more He lended him, for instance, $100. He said, when are you going to bring it back? He said, after a month. He said, then this is $100 with a condition, you pay me back 100 and much, and some. 110, 120, it doesn't matter. 101 cent. كل قرض جر نفعا فهو ربا. So this is one picture of it, one image of it. He says, you borrow this amount from me. When are you going to bring? After a month. Then by the time that deadline comes, you paid 100 plus such. Or he says, no, $100. When are you going to pay? After a month. If you pay it on time, at the end of the month, nothing is on you. Just to bring 100 back. The same amount you borrowed. But if you don't pay on time, because of the postponement, then you should pay such amount of money. Either percentage of the capital or fixed rate or whatever. If you don't pay on time, instead of $100, it's going to be 110. This is riba, which comes through lending. Now, he says, I'm lending you $100, okay, for a 5 fee. So $100, he bring back 105. This is the same. This is the riba. That's what it means. He increased the money. He increased the amount of the debt because of the time. Whether it's late or on time. For instance, on time, you say you want to borrow 100. When are you going to bring after a month? By the time the month ends, you bring back 100 plus $10. Upfront, what they agree upon. Or he say, no, you don't have to pay more than 100. Just to bring the same amount, but with the condition to bring on time. If you don't bring on time, then the extra time costs you this extra money. Regardless the name they give it, surface money, any other name. This is the rule. Here there is a lending, and then there is extra money for the lending, because of the lending. The ulama, they agree upon this قاعدة: كل قرض جر نفعا فهو ربا. كل قرض جر نفعا فهو ربا. Every قرض, every lending which brings profit for the lender is riba. Even you say, I'm lending you this $100 with the condition you give me right to the downtown. The same thing. You lend you $100 to bring it on time after a month, but with a condition to give me a ride to the downtown. This is riba. Because $100 plus something. This is riba. طيب. And this has so much forms and ways to be done by the people. In a way they even made in the life of everyone almost. طيب. This is riba and nasi'ah. And this was the one used to exist at the Jahiliyyah time. And this, the hikmah is very clear. The wisdom behind its prohibition is very clear. It is because mostly who borrow money? Is it a poor person or rich person? Who borrow? The poor. And who lends? The poor or the rich? The rich. At least the stronger. The weak is borrowing, the stronger is lending. طيب. The origin is, in Islam, the stronger to help the weak. The strong, the wealthy, the rich to help the poor. If not, from the help is to lend him. قرضا حسنا, for the sake of Allah. And you get a big reward from Allah. But to lend and to seek profit from the poor, this is eating the blood of the poor. Therefore, those who consume the riba, their punishment in the grave is swimming in a river of blood. Because they really consume, they eat the blood of the people. So the wisdom behind the prohibition of this kind of riba is very clear. This kind of riba caused by postponement of the time and the increase of the debt. Here is a question. Is it from this time, if someone goes to, for instance, he goes to a car dealer, for instance. He says he wants a car to buy. He says, okay, if you buy and you bring up front, it is $5,000. Take the car, bring the $5,000 now. But if you will pay after a year, then the price is going up. It's going to cost you $10,000. And he said, I want $10,000. I don't have $5,000. I don't want a $5,000 now. I really need the car. I will pay after a year, after a month, whatever they agree upon, $10,000. Is this increasement of debt, postponement of debt, and because of that, increase of the money, or is it not from that angle? Yes. That picture you see now, is it from the divination? Again, according to the divination we make for the riba, is postponement of paying the debt and in return increasing the debt. Is it from that angle? One brother said no. Another brother said no. You say? From the same. The same. One brother said the same. Another brother said the same. Okay. It is not. Just to know where you are. Of course, each opinion, each view of you was said by a scholar. Some ulama, like Sheikh al-Albani, rahimahullah, said this is riba. This was increased because of the time. Without the time, would have been how much? 5,000. Because of time, now it's 10,000. Therefore, it is riba. That's one opinion. The other opinion is that the mature scholars are upon. Mature scholars are upon, including Lajna Da'ima, Sheikh Ibn Baz, Sheikh Uthaymin, and others. Lajna Da'ima, Sheikh Ibn Baz, Sheikh Fawzan, and others. And the majority of the early scholars, as Imam Tirmidhi mentioned in his Jami' وَعَلَيْهِ أَكْثَرُ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ, majority of scholars are upon the permissibility of this type of transaction, with a condition, person to choose right away one of the two. To choose one of the two offer right away. Not he choose, for instance, the 5,000. He take the car. Time go by. He find he cannot pay the 5,000 on time. Now he says, you know what? I choose the 10,000. So this now is increasement. But if he choose one of the two right away, as Imam Shafi and others say, they say it's not riba. It's nothing to do with riba. Who understand why it's not riba? Why is not? Yes? Okay. Now, because here, was there any debt at the beginning? There was no debt on this person. The transaction between these two people is selling car and buying it with $10,000. There was no debt first 5,000. Then after that it was increased to another 5,000. No. And the person can sell his product the price he chooses. As long as there is no deception, it is available in the market. The person who buying is responsible person. No deception. My phone, I'm selling it $500. Another one might sell the same phone, $200. People are different. Someone needs the money. He wants to get married. He wants to move. He wants to make Hajj. There's debt on him. He need to pay it. He need really money. Someone is not. They don't sell their product the same price. Now, so this kind of transaction, the majority of scholars, they say, is lawful. It's not riba. It's business. Yes? The buyer has a choice to choose one of the two. Yes, but it is not enforced. The brother says, we understand if he has 10,000 and he chooses the 10,000, but if he has 5,000 and now he accepts the 10,000 because he doesn't have a choice, the rule is different. Here he has choice in both situations. Nobody is enforcing him to buy. Who brought him? Somebody locked him and brought him to the... La. He willingly came and he willingly can go. No enforcement. But here is, with a condition, he choose one of these two options. He choose one of two options. Does that mean he cannot go now, think about it, and come back and choose one of two options? Does that mean? It doesn't mean. As long whenever the transaction is taking place, one of the two is chosen. Not he take the car and then after that he make a decision. No. There has to be transaction has to take place on one of the two offer. طيب. This is one type of riba. This is the famous one. This is the bank they use it. Yeah, you put your money safe in account, and the next thing you find is extra money. You borrow your money, your company, they take every month $100 from you. Then after time you find $3,000. And you are not losing. The more you bring, the more they pay you back. You're not losing. Where did this come from? It's through riba. If they say, no, we taking the money from you, and we are purchasing products, and we're selling, we're making business, and this is from the Prophet. If they say, yes, but that has a condition. I have to know whatever you're using for my money. You don't take my money and use it to sell alcohol or gambling. Also, the profit, the agreement has to be on the profit, not on the capital. And it cannot be specified because that's the nature of business. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you make profit. How can you tell me every month you're going to give me $100? That's not the nature of business. And the profit has to come from the percentage. How much money I brought? $1,000. And then the profit. If you make a profit, you give me 10%. You give me 20%, 80%, whatever we agree upon. Now this is business. You're using the money in what we agree upon of lawful things. And we agree upon the profit, not the capital. Because this is not lending, this is my money. The profit. So for instance, someone brings $10,000. He has the money, but he doesn't know how to do job. Another one, he's good. He's good in selling clothes, perfumes. He's good in a restaurant. So they agree upon, I'm going to open a restaurant. What kind of food you selling? Such food, lawful food. Okay. Whatever profit you make, then we agree upon. The money is from me, and the time, the energy, the knowledge is from you. Profit, how much? 30% from the profit, and 70% is for me. Whatever they agree upon, even 5%. Now, if they make the profit, that's what they agree. If there is loss, this one lost his time and energy, and this one lost his capital. But if he says, every month we open the restaurant and every year I'm going to give you $10,000. Every month I'm going to give you $1,000. This is not allowed. It's not allowed to say, the first year you take the profit. The next year I take the profit, etc. That's not allowed. This is gambling. How I know the first year will we win or we lose? We make profit or not? La. It must be adl, percentage. So some company, they take the money of the employee and the much money he bring, the more they put on it. And even he cannot take his money back without losing some or conditions. And for sure, some of these companies, they taking the money and put it on a bank. They put it on a bank and they giving you very a small portion of it. And what they give you is a riba. Is that poor person who is hard worker, who was extremely needed to borrow, they lended him. That's what you make in even this. Otherwise, how can they promise that they will give you this profit every year, every month? You're not losing. Don't worry about it. How would that happen? Al-Muhim. Tayyib. So this kind of riba in the debt is so widespread. Widespread. Even through money order. Even through money order. You go to the post office, $100. They give you money order of $100 and they charge you what they call surface money. This is the same amount of money. They put in every angle. When the people of knowledge are asking questions, sometimes you say that has nothing to do with riba. But when they explain, you surprise, subhanallah. Al-Muhim. But generally, to the increase of the debt because of the postponement of the time, because of delay in the time. This is one type, it's called riba an-nasi'ah. The second type is called riba al-fadl. Riba al-fadl, it occurs when exchanging some products, specific products. As hadith Sahihain, Prophet ﷺ said, الذهب بصحيح البخاري, hadith Ubaid ibn Nasir في Sahih Muslim, and other Sahaba, Abu Huraira and others, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, different wording. Prophet ﷺ said, الذهب بالذهب والفضة بالفضة والبر بالبر والشعير بالشعير والتمر بالتمر والملح بالملح مثلا بمثل سواء بسواء يدا بيد فمن زاد أو استزاد فقد أربى فإذا اختلفت هذه الأصنام فبيعوا كيف شئتم إذا كان يدا بيد أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. This Prophet said, الذهب بالذهب, gold for gold, selling gold for gold and taking gold. Silver for silver, wheat for wheat, barley for barley, dates for dates, salt for salt. It must be equal, both sides. Like and like. Hand to hand. Whoever increase or demand, he indulged in riba. He fell into riba. So now we have 6 things. 6 items. Gold and gold. Silver and silver. Wheat for wheat. Barley for barley. Dates for dates. Salt for salt. 6. 2 currency, money, and 4 food. طيب. If you exchanging the first 2, if you exchanging each one by itself, gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat, date for date, there is 2 conditions in order to be valid. Otherwise, you fell into riba. Condition number 1, the quantity must be the same. 1 pound, 1 pound. 1 gram of gold, 1 gram of gold. You don't sell 1 gram of gold to 3. Regardless the nature of the gram, the gold. One is good, one is bad. One is mixed, one is pure. One is old, one is new. It doesn't matter. since it has the name of gold, the name of date, the name of salt, it must be, the quantity must be the same, equal. 1 pound, 1 pound. Second condition. So the one who increased, he fell into riba. You sell 1 gram of gold for 2 grams of gold. This is riba. 2 pounds of dates, 5 pounds for 5 pounds of dates. This is riba. Why? Because these 6 kinds are الأنواع الربوية, the riba interest. So it must be equal. Like and like. Must be equal. Must be the same both sides. The other condition is hand to hand. Hand to hand. No delay in one of it. It must be hand to hand. I'm going to buy gold from you. As it should be the same, equal in quantity, it must also be hand to hand right away. Akhi, you have 100 grams of gold, yes. I have 100 grams of gold. Okay. If you would have said 100 grams of gold and 1, I wouldn't, because this would have been riba. But since you said 100, yes. You say, okay, you know what? This is 80. Now I have the 80 gram. I take the 100 from you and I will bring later the remaining, the 20 gram. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. It has to be hand to hand. القبض والتماثل. 2 conditions. القبض, hand to hand, والتماثل, equality. This is when it's from the same kind, the same type. Gold and gold. Silver and silver. طيب. Date and date. Salt and salt. But if these kinds change, for instance, gold for silver, salt for what? Wheat, for instance, date for barley, for instance. Now, the condition is not the quantity. The condition is not the quantity. You can exchange 1,000 grams of gold to 50,000 grams of what? Silver. 1,000 to 50,000. Because why? This is from different kinds. But here with a condition. The second condition must be there. Hand to hand. Hand to hand. Yes, it can be more. This can be more than this. The gold can be more than the silver or the opposite. Because it's different types. But it must be hand to hand. فإذا اختلفت هذه الأصناف فبيعوا كيف شئتم إذا كان يدا بيد. Prophet said, if these types differ, sell it as you like it. If it is hand to hand. If it is hand to hand. طيب. The people of knowledge have difference. Is it limited to these 6? Before that, the ulama of our time, they agree upon that the currency, the money we use, take the same rule of the gold and silver. At the time of Prophet, there was no dollar. There was no real. People used to use as money-wise, they used to use the gold and the silver. So anything which stands in the position of gold and silver, take the same rule. Therefore, dollar, when you sell in dollar for dollar, it must be what? It must be the same, and it must be hand to hand. How about selling dollar to sterling or selling dollar for real? It must be hand to hand, but it can be the difference. Just like you make exchange, you're traveling, you want to go to Hajj, and then by the time you are in the Riyadh airport, you only have dollar, you don't have real, Saudi money. You have $100. Yes, you can sell your $100 and instead take whatever they sell to you from the real, 375 real, for instance, but hand to hand. You don't say, I will pay later on the rest. لا. Give the dollar and get the real. نعم أخي. That's a good question. Why the money order, we don't consider that. The money order is really dollar. It's what the money order is for. If the money order is dollar, then it's dollar. If the money order is real, it's real. So what's the difference between $100 bill and $100 on money order? It's still the dollar. But the method is different. This is a card, this is a paper, but the reality is the dollar. Therefore, we conclude with one issue. The ruling of hadith, this hadith which states that the riba is so evil that even the riba is worse than 1 dirham of riba. 1 dirham, say $1 if you want, of riba. 1 dirham of riba. درهم ربا يأكله الرجل وهو يعلم أشد من 36 زنية. درهم ربا يأكله الرجل وهو يعلم أشد من 36 زنية. That 1 dirham of riba the person is consuming knowingly is worse than making 36 times zina, fornication. This hadith and also the other hadith, الربا 70 حوبة أيسرها نكاح الرجل أمه عياذا بالله. The zina is 70 types of sin. The easiest, the least of it is the man to make zina عياذا بالله with his mother. This hadith, Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah authenticated, but other ulama, many of the ulama disauthenticated. Many of the ulama disauthenticated because of 2 reasons. One because of the chain. Because of the chain. From those is Al-Imam Ibn al-Jawzi, great عالم, في كتاب الموضوعات, he said ليس في هذه الأحاديث شيء صحيح. Nothing of these ahadith is sound. A hadith indicating that riba is worse than zina. So nothing of it is sound. Jawzi. Also, Shaykh al-Allama, Shaykh Abdurrahman al-Muallimi al-Yamani, the Shaykh who Shaykh al-Albani mentioned he learned from the hadith. He benefited from the hadith, the science of hadith. Great alim, Egyptian scholar, Salafi, rahimahullah. He said, والذي يظهر لي أن الخبر لا يصح عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم البتة. Sheikh said, what seems to me is that the khabar, this hadith, is not sound, it's not authentic at all from the Prophet ﷺ. That's true to the chain. As true to the meaning, and also other mashayikh that is authenticated the hadith. As to the meaning, as Imam al-Qayyim and others mention, they say, yes, riba is so evil, so corruption, major sin, but it's not worse than zina. Zina is worst. Zina is worse. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala line up the three worst sin in Surah Al-Furqan. The first one is what? Disbelief, shirk, kufr. The second is what? Kill an innocent soul, murder. The third is the zina. والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون. And there is sound hadith, Prophet was asked the worst of the sin. He mentioned the shirk. He also was asked the second, he mentioned killing an innocent soul, killing your child, خشية أن يطعم معك, fear of to eat with you. It's killing an innocent soul. And the third, the zina. So it is this order. But this narration shows that not only riba is worse than the zina, even is worse than 36 times someone to commit zina. A'udhu billah. On the other, even is worse than man making zina with his mother. La. They say this meaning is not in the Sharia. Rather, the opposite is the Sharia. The zina is the worst. But both are major sin. None of it is minor, iyadan billah. Both is mubiqat. Riba is from the mubiqat, from the 7 destroyers. Naam. But to correct this, zina is worse than the riba. Therefore, the one who married in Islam and fell into zina, what is the punishment? Stoned to death. The other who never married, how many lives? 100 times in front of the people and deportation. That rule is not in the riba. There is no capital punishment for riba in this worldly life. There is ta'zir, disciplining. So both are major sin. Corrupt is the deen and the honor and the wealth and the life of the person. But these ahadith, those al-ilm, قالوا لا تصح. Inshallah, to have more idea about this topic, Monday between Maghrib and Isha, inshallah, the topic will be from the fatwa of Lajna Da'ima. They were asked questions. And then the answer was, it's not allowed because it's riba. Inshallah, we see who figure out where the riba is before we see what the ulama mentioned. Is there any question? Well, na'am akhi. Yes, they buy furniture. Yes. Here the ruling is, question is very important question. Those people, they tell you, buy this stuff, the furniture, the clothes, the books, whatever. If you pay it on time, it will not increase. Just bring it the $500. But if you don't pay it on time, here you should pay the interest. That's the question about. What is this? This is the riba. That's the definition we have. The increasement of the amount because of the postponement of the time. Okay? How about if someone says, I am sure I'm not going to pay extra. I'm not going to pay extra, alhamdulillah. I have money. or I'm looking for a job, or I have someone to borrow from, so I'm going to pay on time. Do you know anyone who take riba without the expectation to pay on time? Everyone wants to pay on time. Then they own him and his wealth and everything he has. He becomes a slave to them. Even how someone can say he will be able, he even doesn't know وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًّا. Even you don't know you will be alive tomorrow or you will be dead. How you promise you'll be able to pay? On the other hand, why you are in need of now, if you will be able after 5 months? Why you don't have, logically, the need you have now, why you don't have at that time? Either the case, accepting the condition itself is not allowed. Regardless, you pay on time, you don't pay on time, because you're accepting shardun batil, you're accepting to pay riba. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.